Hi, I am Namita Tiwari. I'm happy to be here. With 20 years of experience in marketing, you can call me a marketing guru. If you know me better, I am a passionate storyteller. And what's next with me? Well, I want to make some change in the world. I want to be a change catalyst, and I want to inspire youth to change the world as well. I'm glad to be back on the TEDx stage, and I have a story to share. Well, it's a story about gold. It's a story about greed for gold. The one with the golden touch. Any guesses? Well, if you guess King Midas, you're only partially right. How many of you know about the story of King Midas? Many of you, right? I am rich, but I wish to get richer and have the power to turn everything I touch into gold. In a world driven by ambitions, we all want to increase our businesses, increase our followers, and increase our impact world. In short, what I'm trying to say is that there is a King Midas in all of us. Every day we want to achieve new heights, every week we want to achieve new milestones. Every moment we want to have something new in our lives, some new audiences, some new movies. There is a King Midas in all of us. But have we truly learned the lesson from King Midas' story? Coming to real life, that all the greed that we have, that all the wants that we have, without any limits, ultimately leads to our destruction. It ultimately leads to a negativity around us. It leads to destruction. It leads to the loss of Mother Earth, of climate, and even human life. Let's look at the world. Let's look at the life that we live today. Can we imagine a world without plastics, without detergents, without electronics? No. These things are a part of our everyday lives, and we cannot imagine a life without them. I thought I had a power, but after my daughter turned into gold, I realized it was actually a curse. For years, we've been using Mother Earth, using natural resources relentlessly, without any limits, without actually looking at what we are doing, and eventually we are suffering because of it. Not just we, the whole Mother Earth is suffering, the entire population is suffering. In the recent times, this wake-up call, this awakening call, has a new name: sustainability. So what is sustainability? Sustainability goes beyond the normal norms of carbon footprints, circular economy, recycling. It's a practice of looking at the entire process from manufacturing to disposal, from product creation to customer usage, to the disposal of the product towards the end. Electronics have changed our lives, but what happens when we are done with these mobile and gadgets? How many of you have actually given it a thought? What happens when you give away, when you throw away an iPhone? Think about it. I'll also take an example of plastics, very popular example. Plastics were actually used as an alternative to natural fiber in World War II. So there is a history that they actually helped humanity so many years ago. But today, how do we use plastics in everyday life? We just use it and we throw it. And it's actually one of the greatest environmental challenges that we are facing. How to do away with the plastic that's being used and thrown away. What to do with it. Millions and tons of plastics is there, and we are finding ways to dispose them. With 17 sustainability development goals launched by United Nations that range from climate change to diversity and inclusion, we can say that sustainability today is everyone's responsibility. Manufacturers need to create processes to recycle the products that they are creating, and consumers need to be responsible enough to follow the process. But are they doing that? Many businesses and governments have taken up sustainability goals and are making efforts to reduce environmental footprints and conserve natural resources. Use sustainability as a driver for your brand. It's a good thought to have. How do we do that? That is called sustainability marketing. To define sustainability marketing, it's defined as to focus, integrate, and highlight environmental, economic, and social factors integrated into business operations and brand communications. So that's what sustainability marketing is. And why is it becoming important? Very interesting. It's becoming important because of the change in the consumers. 60%, a recent research shows that 60% of consumers today are actually having sustainability as an important criteria while buying. They may not always buy the product which is sustainable, but they will always think about it, which is important, which is different, which is a change. 71% of millennials, which is young people like you, are willing to pay more for a product that's connected to a purpose. Isn't that amazing? We are in a world of awakened customers. All marketing needs to go sustainable. However, there's also a flip side of greenwashing, where we have brands and companies presenting their products falsely, propagating their products falsely as sustainable and eco-friendly when they are not. Well, we need to realize that customers are intelligent, especially the youth, especially the awakened youthful customers of today are very intelligent, and brands have to go really eco-friendly and sustainable instead of falsely trying to propagate themselves. It's a very important strategy, it's a very important proposition that every brand and business has to acknowledge today or tomorrow. So how do we achieve the sustainable proposition? How do we switch to sustainability marketing? I will now talk about the 4 switches to sustainability marketing: product, planet, people, and purpose. Let's start with products. A popular German beer brand launched a fiber bottle, paper-based fiber bottle. And it was, of course, a great success. And not only was it a more sustainable option than glass, but it also had longer insulation properties, where the beer could be colder for a longer period of time. What an interesting example, what an interesting sustainable product. Another example of a sustainable product was a toy making company that completely treated biodegradable and green toys, so to say, that were extremely safe for children to use. Let's talk of people now. An American personal care brand actually launched a school fund campaign that was about educating the young school students on environmental change and environmental benefits, environmental care. Of course, the brand gained from the highlights that the campaign had, but it had a larger influence and impact because it was educating the future generation. A very inspiring way to do sustainability marketing with people, especially when you're targeting youth. Let's talk about planet now. A good example of planet sustainability marketing is a company which is an American outdoor wear brand, and it recently declared, and I repeat, it declared Earth as its only shareholder. Incredible. A few years back, probably a decade back, the same brand had launched a campaign on the lines of "Don't buy this jacket, don't buy this shirt, to initiate and invoke mindful buying and discourage mindless consumerism. It was a great hit. I think it was on a Black Friday, and incredibly popular campaign. I think all the marketers would know about it. But it was a great way to inspire customers to think before buying and encourage conscious buying. Another example of saving the planet is an iconic shoe brand that I'm sure all of you are very familiar with and will use. They picked up ocean plastic. Now we all know how much plastic is there that gets thrown into. So they picked up ocean plastic and launched a range of shoes with that plastic. And not only the campaign was extremely successful, people bought those shoes, recycled shoes, sustainable shoes, everything was great with them. The same iconic brand has actually achieved an impossible milestone by making a running shoe which has least carbon footprint. And they achieved this in 2021. And the same iconic brand has taken up an incredible goal of having sustainable products in 90% of their products in the market by 2025. What an exemplary example of sustainable marketing. Let's come to golden purpose-driven sustainability marketing. I really love this, and I call it the golden purpose because I feel out of all the switches, this is the most impactful one. A good example of switching to purpose-driven sustainable marketing is a toilet-making company. They decided to make toilet papers made out of 100% wood pulp, which were completely biodegradable. But what was interesting, that they had a golden purpose of dedicating 50% of that profit towards building toilets in the impoverished and underprivileged areas. Let's move ahead. I will give up on my goal, but please give my daughter back, because without her, I have lost everything worth having. Why do you think Midas was regretful? Why do you think Midas was regretful and he wanted that he was willing to give up all the gold and have his daughter back? But do we have that option? Do we have a planet B? I don't think so. Sustainability is very important. Sustainability is everyone's responsibility. I think it's very important that producers, consumers, users are aware of their responsibility as to why they need to follow sustainability as an ideology, not just as a marketing strategy. Follow it, inculcate it in your daily life for a better future. With this story, I end my talk. I hope it was meaningful, and I hope it gave you a meaningful perspective of sustainability.